Many women spend years trying to prove their worth to others, but according to ancient Buddhist wisdom, true strength begins the moment you stop seeking approval. For more than 2,500 years, Buddhist teachings have helped people find peace in a chaotic world. These teachings reveal simple but powerful truths about strength, compassion, and inner freedom. Today, we will explore 6 Buddhist lessons every woman needs to hear. Teachings that can help you find focus, resilience, fearlessness, and the spiritual power to walk your own path with calm confidence. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Your worth is not measured by the world. Many women are taught to always put others first. You may have felt this in subtle ways, trying to meet expectations, trying to be strong, kind, capable, and understanding all at once, trying to be everything for everyone. But Buddhist wisdom gently reminds us of a powerful truth. Suffering often begins the moment we seek our value from outside ourselves. When your sense of worth depends on praise, recognition, or approval, your peace becomes fragile. A single criticism can disturb your mind. A moment of rejection can make you question yourself. Yet your true nature is not defined by opinions. In Buddhism, the mind is often compared to a clear sky. Thoughts, judgments, and expectations are simply passing clouds. They appear, they change, and they disappear. But the sky itself remains unchanged. Your worth is like that sky. It exists beyond temporary opinions. When you remember this, something inside you begins to relax. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself constantly. You stop exhausting your energy trying to satisfy every expectation placed upon you. Instead, you begin to live from a deeper place of self-respect. This does not mean becoming cold or indifferent. It means understanding that kindness toward others must also include kindness toward yourself. A woman who knows her worth does not need to shout. She does not need to compete for attention. Her presence becomes calm and grounded. Like a mountain that does not move when the wind blows, she remains steady in the quiet knowledge of who she truly is. And when you stop chasing approval, you rediscover something far more powerful: inner freedom. Lesson 2. Protect the peace of your mind. The modern world is loud, fast, and demanding. Every day your mind receives countless messages about what you should be doing, achieving, fixing, or improving. It can feel as though your attention is constantly being pulled in many directions. Over time, this creates a quiet form of exhaustion. Buddhist teachings remind us that one of the greatest forms of wisdom is learning how to guard the mind. Not every situation deserves your emotional energy. Not every opinion deserves your attention. And not every conflict deserves your response. Many women have been taught to carry the emotional weight of others, to listen, support, comfort, and solve problems. Compassion is a beautiful quality, but without boundaries, it can slowly drain your spirit. Protecting your inner peace is not selfish, it is necessary. A calm mind allows you to respond to life with clarity instead of reaction. When your thoughts are quiet, you can see situations more clearly. Decisions become simpler, your actions become more intentional. Buddhist monks often spend years practicing stillness for this very reason. They understand that when the mind becomes peaceful, wisdom naturally appears. You do not need to retreat to a monastery to practice this. You can begin with small moments of awareness. Notice when your mind becomes overwhelmed by unnecessary worries. Notice when you feel pulled into arguments that bring no real resolution. In those moments, gently step back, take a breath, allow silence to return. A woman who protects the peace of her mind develops a powerful presence. Her thoughts become focused, her energy becomes balanced, and slowly the noise of the world loses its ability to disturb her inner calm. Lesson 3. Your pain can become your awakening. Have you ever noticed how the most difficult moments in life often leave the deepest marks on the heart? Many women carry silent stories of struggle, moments when life felt unfair, times when you gave your trust and it was broken, times when your strength was tested in ways you never expected. It is natural to wish that pain had never happened. The mind often asks, "Why did this happen to me?" But Buddhist wisdom offers a different way of looking at suffering. Instead of seeing pain as an enemy, these teachings invite you to see it as a teacher. In Buddhism, suffering is not meaningless. It is often the beginning of awakening. When life moves smoothly, the mind rarely questions anything. We follow familiar patterns. We move through our routines without deeply examining our thoughts or beliefs. But when difficulty appears, something changes. Pain forces the mind to pause. It creates a moment where we begin to look deeper into our own hearts. This is where transformation begins. A painful experience can either harden the heart or awaken wisdom. The difference lies in how we choose to respond. If we hold on to resentment, the pain continues to live within us. But when we observe our suffering with awareness, we begin to understand it. You may start to notice how attachment, expectations, or fear contributed to your experience. This realization is not meant to create blame. Instead, it opens the door to freedom. The Buddha taught that understanding suffering is the first step toward liberation. For many women, this understanding becomes a powerful turning point. The same experiences that once felt like wounds slowly become sources of strength. Compassion grows deeper. Wisdom becomes clearer. Your ability to understand others expands. You begin to see that hardship did not destroy you. In many ways, it revealed your resilience. Like a lotus flower that grows from muddy water, inner strength often rises from difficult conditions. The lotus does not reject the mud that surrounds it. Without that mud, it could never bloom. In the same way, your struggles may contain the seeds of your awakening. Every challenge you have faced has shaped your awareness. Every obstacle has quietly strengthened your spirit. One day, you may look back at a moment that once felt unbearable and realize something surprising. It was the moment that began your transformation. Instead of breaking you, it awakened the quiet warrior within your heart. And when you recognize this truth, your relationship with suffering changes. You no longer fear it in the same way. You understand that even within pain, wisdom can grow. And the woman who learns from her suffering walks forward with a depth of strength that the world cannot easily shake. Lesson 4. Walk your own path without fear. From an early age, many women are surrounded by expectations about how life should look. There are ideas about success, relationships, family, appearance, and even how you should behave. These expectations often come from culture, society, or the people around you. At times, they may even come from those who care about you. But Buddhist wisdom reminds us that every human life is a unique journey. No two paths are exactly the same. Yet many people spend years comparing themselves to others. They measure their progress by someone else's timeline. They question their choices because they look different from the choices others have made. Comparison quietly steals peace from the mind. The Buddha often taught that suffering grows when we become attached to illusions. One of the most common illusions is the belief that there is only one correct way to live. But your life is not meant to be a copy of someone else's story. You have your own experiences, your own strengths, your own lessons that only you can learn. Walking your own path requires courage. There may be moments when people do not understand your decisions. There may be times when your direction feels uncertain. But uncertainty is not a sign of failure. In fact, uncertainty is often a sign that you are growing. Buddhist practice encourages mindfulness, which means learning to listen deeply to your inner awareness. Beneath the noise of external expectations, there is a quiet voice within you that knows what feels true. This voice does not shout. It speaks softly through intuition, reflection, and stillness. When you begin to trust this inner guidance, something powerful happens. You stop trying to fit into shapes that were never meant for you. Instead of forcing yourself to follow paths that drain your spirit, you begin choosing directions that bring meaning and peace. This does not mean life suddenly becomes easy. Walking your own path may sometimes feel lonely. There may be moments when doubt appears, but fear loses its power when you remember that authenticity is more valuable than approval. A woman who walks her own path develops a quiet confidence. She does not rush to prove herself. She does not compete for validation. Her strength comes from alignment between her actions and her inner truth. Like a traveler walking through a peaceful forest, she moves forward step by step, guided by awareness rather than pressure. And over time, something beautiful begins to unfold. The life that once felt uncertain slowly becomes meaningful. The path that once seemed unclear reveals its purpose. Not because it followed society's expectations, but because it honored the wisdom within your own heart. And that is the beginning of true freedom. Lesson 5. Let go of what drains your spirit. Have you ever felt emotionally exhausted without fully understanding why? Sometimes the mind grows tired not because life is too difficult, but because we are holding on to too many things that quietly drain our spirit. Old resentments, lingering regrets, relationships that no longer bring peace, expectations that feel heavy on the heart. Many women carry these invisible burdens for years. You may continue giving your time, your patience, and your care, even when something inside you feels depleted. You may remain loyal to people or situations that slowly take away your inner calm. At first, this often comes from kindness and compassion. But Buddhist wisdom teaches an important truth. Compassion must also include yourself. Holding on to what harms your peace does not make you stronger. In many cases, it only prolongs suffering. One of the central teachings of Buddhism is the practice of letting go. Letting go does not mean becoming indifferent. It does not mean closing your heart or abandoning compassion. Instead, it means recognizing when attachment is causing unnecessary pain. The mind often believes that holding on gives us control. We hold on to anger because we believe it protects us. We hold on to past hurts because we think remembering them will prevent future pain. Yet the opposite is often true. The more tightly we hold on to resentment or disappointment, the more space those emotions occupy within our mind. Imagine carrying a heavy stone in your hands all day. At first you may believe you are strong enough to carry it, but as time passes, your arms begin to ache, your energy fades. Eventually, you realize that the weight itself is what has been exhausting you. Letting go is simply placing the stone down. This practice begins with awareness. You can gently ask yourself a simple question: what am I holding on to that is disturbing my peace? For some women, the answer may be an old memory that still brings pain. For others, it may be a relationship built on constant tension or misunderstanding. Sometimes it is not even a person or event, but a belief about yourself that has been carried for too long. Perhaps the belief that you must always be strong. Perhaps the belief that you must never disappoint anyone. Perhaps the belief that your needs must always come last. These beliefs often develop quietly over time, yet they shape how you move through the world. Buddhist practice encourages you to observe these attachments with gentle awareness, not with judgment, but with honesty. When you begin to see clearly what is draining your spirit, the next step is allowing yourself permission to release it. This release may happen gradually. Letting go rarely happens in a single moment. It is a process of softening the grip that the past has on your heart. Each day, you remind yourself that peace is more valuable than clinging to pain. Forgiveness can also become part of this process. Forgiveness in Buddhism is not about saying that harmful actions were acceptable. It is about freeing your mind from carrying the emotional weight of those actions forever. When you forgive, you are not giving power to someone else. You are reclaiming power for yourself. There is a quiet strength in choosing peace over resentment. The woman who learns to let go develops an extraordinary kind of resilience. She understands that not everything in life needs to be fought, controlled, or fixed. Some things are meant to be released. As you begin to practice this wisdom, you may notice subtle changes within yourself. Your thoughts become lighter. Your emotional energy begins to return. Situations that once disturbed you deeply lose their intensity. This does not happen because life suddenly becomes perfect. It happens because your relationship with life changes. You begin to move through the world with a calmer heart. Instead of carrying every burden that appears along your path, you learn to choose which ones truly deserve your energy. And this choice creates space for something beautiful to grow. When the mind is no longer filled with resentment, regret, or unnecessary attachment, a quiet clarity emerges. Your focus becomes stronger. Your awareness deepens. The inner warrior within you awakens, not through aggression, but through calm strength and wisdom. She understands that her peace is sacred, and she no longer gives that peace away to things that drain her spirit. Lesson 6. Awaken the quiet warrior within you. Deep within every woman lives a strength that is rarely spoken about. It is not loud. It does not seek attention, and it does not depend on recognition from the outside world. Buddhist wisdom often reminds us that true power is quiet. In a world that often celebrates noise, speed, and constant competition, many people forget that the deepest strength comes from inner stillness. A calm mind can see clearly. A steady heart can endure difficulties that would overwhelm others. This is the strength of the quiet warrior. Many women spend years believing they must become something else in order to be powerful. They believe they must speak louder, push harder, or constantly prove themselves in order to be respected. But Buddhist teachings offer a different perspective. Real strength does not come from forcing the world to notice you. It comes from understanding yourself. The moment you begin to understand your mind, your emotions, and your deeper values, a new kind of confidence begins to appear. It is not arrogance, it is not pride, it is calm certainty. This certainty grows from self-awareness. When you observe your thoughts with mindfulness, you begin to recognize patterns that once controlled you. You notice fears that used to hold you back. You see the moments when doubt quietly entered your mind and made you question your path. But awareness changes everything. Once you can see these patterns clearly, they lose their power. Instead of reacting automatically, you begin to respond with wisdom. The Buddha taught that the mind, when trained with awareness, becomes one of the most powerful forces in human life. A focused mind can endure difficulty without collapsing into fear. A peaceful mind can remain stable even when the world feels uncertain. For a woman seeking empowerment and resilience, this teaching becomes incredibly valuable. You begin to realize that your greatest ally is not outside of you. It is your own awakened awareness. This awareness allows you to face life with courage, not the kind of courage that pretends fear does not exist, but the kind that continues forward despite uncertainty. Fear often appears when we imagine worst-case outcomes or when we worry about judgment from others. But mindfulness gently brings your attention back to the present moment. And in the present moment, most fears lose their intensity. You realize that you are capable of taking one step at a time, one decision at a time, one breath at a time. This is how the quiet warrior moves through life. She understands that challenges are part of growth. Just as a tree becomes stronger by facing the wind, the human spirit becomes stronger by facing life with awareness. When you awaken this quiet warrior within yourself, something profound begins to shift. You stop waiting for permission to live your life fully. You stop shrinking your voice in order to make others comfortable. You stop doubting your ability to navigate the unknown. Instead, you move forward with steady calm. Your decisions come from clarity rather than fear, and your presence carries a quiet authority that does not need to be announced. The woman who develops this inner mastery becomes both gentle and unshakable. She can care deeply for others without losing herself. She can face uncertainty without becoming overwhelmed. Over time, people around her may begin to notice something different about her presence. There is a calm confidence in the way she speaks. There is patience in the way she listens. There is wisdom in the way she responds to life's challenges. This is the quiet power of mindfulness. And when a woman awakens this power within herself, she does not simply change her own life. She becomes a source of strength, clarity, and inspiration for the world around her. If these Buddhist lessons spoke to something within your heart today, take a quiet moment to reflect on them. True empowerment begins with awareness, patience, and the courage to walk your own path. If you found peace or insight in this message, consider subscribing to Mindfulness for more reflections on Buddhist wisdom, inner strength, and calm living. And remember, the power you seek has always been within you, waiting patiently for the moment you choose to awaken it.